What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Miss Azrael's Gaming. So we're going to jump back into Tavern Talk. We finally got another quest. I think it was another 2 quests picked up, if I remember right. So the air elemental, I don't remember what name he's going by right now. I think it's John. Is it John? It might be John. He's got by so many. He's picked up another quest, and he's going with Fable. So they'll be traveling together. And then Care came in and picked up the bodyguard quest. And she went with Rhea, the dwarf, and the young wannabe adventurer who also posted it. I cannot remember his name right now. Is it Archie? It might be Archie. But we're going to go ahead and jump back in. So we're on Act 2, Starlight Sonata, Interlude, 13th of the Astral Moon. Oh, new character. Oh, 2 new characters. I know what they're from. They are from that prom game. What is it? Monster Prom? He's the werewolf and she's the ghost, I think. Yeah, Monster Prom. Yep, that's it. Yeah. That's what I thought. I had to Google it really quick. That's Scott Howell, the werewolf, and that is Polygeist, I think. So that's so funny. Whew! I knew we took the right path. Who said we can't road trip all by ourselves? Oh, they did, because they did do the road trip one, which is, I haven't played that one yet, but I did play Monster Prom. I just haven't played the second one they made. Liam did, I think. I think that was perhaps a rhetorical question. Whoa, dude, didn't see you there. What's up? The sky, last time I checked. It better be. It'd be confusing otherwise. Very true. Is this your crib? It is indeed. Welcome to Wayfarer's Inn. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? Polygeist and the goodest of boys, Scott Howell. And together we are the Prank Masters. With a Z. Woo! Pleasure to meet you. I'm your humble innkeeper. Awesome. What drinks do you serve? Oof, yeah. We're in a desperate need of some booze. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't serve booze. What? Why? The age rating system is quite harsh on such things. And I've got to keep the place open somehow. I feel you. We've got some burdens to carry. What else have you got? Magical beverages that can enhance your abilities. It's even rumored they might influence your fate. Whoa, that's so cool, dude. Like an influencer, but for fate. A fate fluencer. That would be so hard on Momentgram. I think that would go so hard on Momentgram. What's a Momentgram? It goes pretty hard here as well. We'll just go with that one. Bet. Innkeep, please influence our fate before I get bored. I'm feeling incredibly depleted from the weird AF trip. Sounds like you're in dire need of some stamina. Though, I think you could use something a bit stronger than usual. Dope. Give me your strongest potion. Technically, never mind. Okay, so she needs something that gives strength of 3, so it's probably, Sailor's Courage, perhaps. A lot of strength, a dash of defense, and a shot of charisma. We could do that one. We haven't done anything new yet, because we normally just go with the basics, which would be the Southern Brawler. But this one might actually need something in it, so maybe I should just go with the Southern Brawler. Yeah, because this has 4 altogether, and I don't know what would go in it. So we'll do the Southern Brawler. Because usually these are just saves for specific missions, and it didn't say to use an infuser, so we're not going to do that. A funky drink for funky gal. Let's see. Whoa, this is good. Very good. So good I don't even miss the booze. Well, maybe a little bit. I'll take that as a compliment. Try this, Scott. Whoa, that tickles. Just like pickle juice. So, Scott Howe, would you like a drink as well? Nah. But you can tell us where we are and what cool things we can check out around here. You're in Zenith, in the Republic of Fiosa. Are you lost? Nope. At least not as long as we're having a blast. You do seem slightly out of this world, though. Oh. Maybe you're onto something, potion seller. I'm not... You know, we were road tripping, supposed to be on the trip of our lives, when something weird happened. We were about to take the next turn at the crossroads, and then whoosh, a portal opened up, and I couldn't hit the brakes in time. Yeah, we drove straight through and ended up on a gravel road. Everything seemed different and dated. So dated. Dated? Duh. I've seen and done plenty of weird stuff, but this is a different kind of weird. So weird. No cars, only carriages and stuff. Cars? Yes. What are cars? Do you mean carts? Those things that go vroom. I'm afraid I've got no clue what you're talking about. I don't think cars exist here, Scott. Now it makes sense that my phone has no signal either. What makes sense? We landed in the past. Whoa, does that mean we time traveled? Yeah. That's so cool. I doubt time travel is possible. It sounds more like you participated in inter-universal travel, which is rare but happens occasionally. Wait. So what you're saying is we're super special and lucky to have participated in such an event? Likely. Dope. This is a sign, Scott. The universe sent us here to wreak havoc. Oh, the Prankmeisters will strike again. Soon, after a nap. Can we take a nap, Polly? Good idea. Hey, a funky magic mystery pal. You better get to writing that tour guide. I'll see what I can do. Good. Do you have a room for us? Of course. I've got a room upstairs. Just ignore the scratching sounds and leaking water by the iron door. Don't worry, we've seen worse than that. We've got plenty of experience with sea monsters. Always hyped to meet more. See you in a bit, Innkeep. Come on, Scott. Let's hit the sheets. That's so funny because in Coffee Talk there was another game where they brought in characters as well from another one, so that's funny. Maybe I should add some do not enter signs. This is so funny. I was not expecting to see those characters. Hello. Glad to see you, Baya. Thank you for having me. Now, that... Is your friend's dispute still ailing you? Still so lonely. I came to ask. Have you sent someone to help my friends? I did, actually. You did? Yes, I sent Fable and Aura to solve the dispute. Aura, that's the name he's changed it to. Oh. Then let's hope they'll be friends again soon, so we can have tea parties again. And I can stop being lonely. At least people are visiting my spa. That's good. Thank you for handing out my coupons. Did I hear spa? Yes. Doesn't that sound like something, Scott? Ooh, I love a spa. Things. Now, are you our tour guide, sweet bog creature? Tour guide? Do you want to visit my spa? These two are Pollygeist and Scott Howe. They're currently looking for entertainment and a way back home, but entertainment first, obviously. It's getting incredibly boring here. No offense, funky magic mystery pal. None taken. Where is your home? In a portal or something. Yeah, we came through a portal, which in itself is pretty rad. But we've had the medieval tavern experience and all. It was good while it lasted, but it's time to move on. Move on to my spa? Something like that. Which makes me think, Baya, do you think you could help them find a way back home? Of course. You can do that? But first, you have to visit my spa. Nothing easier than that. I'm in need of a facial anyways. The air here is so dry. My bog water is especially moisturizing. Wait. Does that mean we get to go skinny dipping in some hot springs? Oh, yes, absolutely. My hot springs are the best. Cool. So a pit stop at your spa and then a road trip back home? You joining us for the ride, sweet bog creature? Please say yes. We'll see. I'll first show you the portal and my spa. If you bring them to the portal, you could take a ride with them through it. Might help you with your loneliness. You think so? Yes. No one's lonely on a ride with the prank masters. I'll think about it. Which portal do you want to take? The one through Avalon, full of dreams and forests? Or the one through the Twilight Chasm, a place full of dread and weird fishies? Ooh, the Twilight Chasm sounds spooky. I love spooky. I love dreams. They're so weird. Like that one dream I had when I was my own dad. Where should I lead them, Innkeeper? A trip through the Nightmare Realm sure sounds fun. A portal at Avalon is just around the corner. Let's go with the Nightmare Realm. Nightmares? Heck yeah. I haven't had one of those in a while. Sounds dope. Make sure you don't lose your minds, though. No promises. Can't wait to show you my mud masks. Can't wait to show you the world, sweet bog creature. My name is Baya. Then let's hit the road, Baya. Enjoy your trip and safe travels. Goodbye, potion seller. See ya. Goodbye, Innkeeper. No, well, at least Baya's gonna, make some friends of this. I'm glad Baya could find a little comfort in those particular visitors, at least. I'm excited to hear the story she'll tell when she gets back. Okay, so we are in Act 2, Starlight Sonata, 13, Come Hell or High Water, 17th of the Astral Moon. Good evening, Innkeeper. Good evening, Grace. Can I ask you for a drink? Anytime. What can I do for you? I'm pretty spent. Do you have something that will keep my mind awake for a little longer? I should have something that can do just that. One moment. Okay, so we need... probably this one. Alright, so we need this. And this one. A drink for the mind and soul. Enjoy. Thank you. This is just what I needed. Why are you still so tired? I thought you were done with your thesis. I am, which also means I need to figure out what to do next. The possibilities are endless, but not boundless, so considerations are a complicated endeavor. Have you considered a break? I have. Say, Innkeeper, if you had forever, what would you do with it? I've never thought about that before. I like being an innkeeper, so I could just keep doing this forever. It's relaxing and safe, and I get to meet the most wonderful people and wizards all day. Forever's a long time. Isn't there anything else you would like to do? I'd love to go on a road trip. I've always wanted to learn how to play the harp. No, I'm content with my existence. Let's go with a road trip. Really? Where to? Anywhere, really. See the world, the forests, the seas. Stop by each of the 5 interplanar portals and see what all the hype is about. Would you go through them? I'm not sure. I was thinking more about having a picnic and a conversation nearby. Maybe a nap. I'll invite Aura with me. I'm sure he'd travel with me. I could rate them by which fruits grow around them. Now you're making me curious. Will you send me your studies? You'll be the first to know. What would you do with immortality? I would learn everything there is to learn. Every language, instrument, skill, and facet of mortal existence. I would travel the plains with my brother and learn even more. Have an infinite amount of tea parties. I'd come to those. When we were little, Hex would always make all the stuffed animals dance around our little tea table. We didn't have money for music boxes, so we just made up songs for them to dance to. He sang them to me. If I had the time, I would love to write down all those songs and invent dances for them. You should make time for that. It's your time, after all. And besides, while you don't have forever, you do have quite a lot. An elven lifespan is nothing to scoff at, even if you only get half. Not if you got the human side of the lifespan. Oh, that's less time. It is, but I'll make the most of it. What will you do next, then? I'm not sure yet. I was thinking about going to the Ashfell, the capital of Magocracy. I heard the libraries there are 60 stories tall and rivers float through the sky in exuberant display of mana. Sounds like paradise for someone like you. Yes, but Hex really wants to stay here. He likes Fiosa, Zenith, and the Ashen Grove. I think he likes how quiet it is, if you would believe it. I don't think he'd like the bustle of it all. You could just go without him. There's a Magocracy embassy and so forth. Their teleportation is expensive but reliable. I don't think he wants to go back to Zofort either, and I won't make him. He could teleport himself there, then. He really shouldn't. It's quite a long distance, and he's always been awful at teleportation. He could take a ship. I appreciate the effort, but I don't think a ship would help make the distance acceptable to him. He's always going to follow me, no matter where I go. I think he doesn't want to miss out on any adventures or celebrations or funerals. You can just tell him you want to go alone, but then he could be alone too. Just talk to him, Grace. I don't want to spend our time talking. I don't want to spend our time together fighting. I just don't want him to spend it mourning me either. You should tell him that. He'll have enough time to mourn you when you're gone. Unlike life that never ends. I suppose you're right. I'd like to leave something he can remember me by. Maybe I'll build my own wizard tower. Okay, so character information unlocked on Grace. So let's see what we learn there. She's a half-elf, but she inherited the human lifespan, while Hex inherited the elven one. Grace is always reminded of her mortality, and it scares her. She doesn't want to take breaks because she feels that would waste her precious time. She also doesn't like how Hex tries to shelter her. Okay, so please do. I love those. Did you hear about the one on Morlea near Darwell? The one with the infamous Magocracian fugitive? The very same. It seems that its wizard has disappeared without a trace, leaving his tower vacant. I've always wanted to stop by for tea, but I don't want to be rude and intrusive, so I haven't. I wonder what he left behind. I'm sure it's a collection of fascinating and impossibilities. Okay, so we got a new rumor, Vanishing Wizards. Couldn't you just teleport in to check? You can't exactly teleport in and out of well-protected places all willy-nilly. You might end up trapped or in a whole other plane. You might. Maybe that's what happened to the wizard. Maybe. No one seems to know what happened to him or who he even was, and no one seems interested in finding out either. Isn't that sad? A little. I don't want to disappear like that. You won't. I'll tell your story for as long as I'm around. How long is that? For as long as the world will bear me. You're very easy to bear. Thank you, Grace. Would you like to stay a little while? Please. I find your end truly inspiring. I'll be here if you need a rubber duck. I'm counting on it. Okay, so we got Fable. We got the achievement, a lullaby. I don't know what that was for. Hi, Innkeeper. Hi, you two. A drink, please. Or two, actually. Sure thing. Actually, what name are we on right now? Well, Aura is still fine. Come on, that was a whole week ago. I was busy. I want to come up with a new one now then. Can I come up with one? Sure. How about... Why does Fable get... See, I knew it. I knew Fable was going to scoot in on my man there. And now she gets the name... Or they get to name him. Very upset about that. How about Kumo? I feel like you look like a Kumo. It fits. He is just as stealthy as a spider. He's just as soft as a cloud. I don't know. Would that be insulting to him to say that he's as soft as a cloud? He is just as stealthy as a spider. I'll go with this one. And just as cute. I knew it. Should never let the two of them get together. I'll take your word for it. Our drinks, can we get them now? Of course. What would you like? Something sweet. Bubbly, maybe? If you can find something like that. Sure, I'll see if I can find the word you're looking for. It would be the spoken heart. That's usually what he gets. Wait a minute. Did I put too much? Yeah, I put too many in there. Liquid charisma for those in need. Maybe you should try it then. Do you want to send it back? No, it's good. Glad to hear that. Fable, what can I get you? Maybe something that will make me feel like I could lift 1,000 clouds. Like I've got the strength of a dragon or something like that. Carolyn always says it's pretty tasty. I see. A Carolyn special then. Okay, so that would be the Southern Brawler. That's different. Fable never gets something different than the... I think they always got the one that I just gave to Aura. Or Kuno. His name's Kuno now. A regular favorite for another regular. Thank you. It's delicious as usual. That's what I like to hear. I like the new hair, by the way. By the way, what's up with your hair? Did they change it? I thought the braid was always there. Do I have a... yep, there's a braid now. I thought I noticed that, but I wasn't sure. Oh, you do? Thank you. It looks really nice, right? Kumo braided it for me. He helped me calm down after we encountered the Mari Morgan. But I should probably start at the beginning, right? I'd appreciate that. Alright, so... what happened at the beginning? The ship to Boris. Right. I was a bit worried about the journey we were embarking on. After all, the seas around Boris are famously hard to traverse, with all the wild magic around and all. But just before we left Zenith, we ran into Una in the midst of an arm wrestling match against Inigo. We took the opportunity to ask her for advice. Thought maybe she'd traveled there before. You could have also asked me. She was closer. Right. Did she have any good advice? She did. With her help, we were able to avoid all of the dangerous maelstroms, sea stacks, and iceberg elements. That must have made for a very relaxing journey. It did. It was very inspiring, too. We were able to see the dancing, colorful auras in the night sky as we drew closer. They were starless, but still breathtakingly gorgeous. I even started on a new song. It wasn't ready to be shared yet, though. I just wanted a sneak peek. Well, you should have snuck better. A new song. Can I hear it? It's not done yet. Thanks to Una, we made it to Boris a lot faster than we had planned. We also docked far away from the typical explorer's route. It was completely abandoned by everything but nature, as if no one but us had seen it before. Kind of exciting. Very of interest, for sure. As we headed inland, we were quickly swallowed by the fog that engulfs almost the entire island. It moved in strange patterns, creating unidentifiable forms within the mist that hungered for life. The thickets rustled as we walked by. Whether moved by wind or by creature, we couldn't tell. but the trees were shaped strangely, with shimmering portals forming in their empty husks. Our unquiet breaths were often interrupted by shrill shrieking sounds that seemed to come from right above us. It was almost idyllic. Or scary. It was mostly scary. I wouldn't have minded strolling around until we ran into something roaming the island, but it was a little cold, so I found a local to ask for directions. While wandering around, we came across a clearing surrounded by tall trees, or rather, one tree. All of them were connected, intertwined with one another. Through one of their twisted connections, a waterfall with no discernible origin was flowing into a small pond, and in its midst rested a nymph, a real nymph, doing taxes. She was weaving flower crowns for the fish. She was beautiful, with long black hair and skin that glistened in the sunlight being reflected off the waterfall. Her eyes were like sparkling gemstones, and her smile was full of kindness. She was all right, but also the only person around. So Fable asked her for directions. No, Fable asked her about everything but directions. I asked her for directions. She was very helpful. She even gave us a gift. A gift? That's sweet. She gave us earplugs against the Banshee song so our bones wouldn't chatter. Very helpful. Did you offer to write her a jingle in return? I did. She said if we were to survive the encounter with the Banshee, I could come back and she'd think of what she'd need a jingle for. She was thinking about setting up a dragonfly exhibition, so maybe for that. Who would she even advertise to? Frogs? And toads. The Banshee was our first priority, so we stealthily made our way to the Lonesome Lagoon with earplugs in our ears. We mostly walked and talked about our favorite dragonflies. As we finally approached the Lonesome Lagoon, the thick mist enveloped us. It suddenly became so cold we could see our own ragged breaths. And then we heard it, a song filled with the sorrow of the world comprised into a single note. It sounded really nice. There was so much emotion in that song. Sadness, longing, yearning, anger. We wanted to be polite and wait until she was done singing, but she kept going, like tears that wouldn't stop. So I decided to be a little rude, stepped forward, and said hello. They said, "Hello, Banshee, I really like your song." That confused the Banshee so much that she stopped. She smiled, baring a row of deadly sharp teeth. She was very nice, actually. She asked if we wanted to steal from her lagoon. When we said no, she invited us to sing along. Did you? Of course. It was kind of fun. It was, and I thought, what better time to bring up the Mari Morgan but now? So I led with, I bet you do this with your girlfriend all the time, right? She suddenly looked at me with hatred and anger and then just started screaming. I was very thankful for the earplugs at that moment. I think without them my bones might have melted. That was our cue to leave, so I pulled Fable back into the thicket of the bourne forest. Obviously, we couldn't just leave it at that failure, so we looked around for a peace offering. We found some spiky pink fruits with the pattern of little ghost tortoises on them. We thought she might like them. She liked them enough to stop screaming at us, and we sat down at the side of the lagoon to talk. It's beautiful, by the way. Right in the middle is the giant portal to the Twilight Chasm. It colors the waters this deep, dark blue with swirling clouds of darkness within. There were bones floating in the lagoon, too. I almost brought one for your tavern. Why didn't you? I'm glad you didn't. Why didn't you? I thought you wouldn't like it. I love bones. I'll keep that in mind for the future. The Banshee actually fished out some bones to fidget with. It stopped her from screaming every time she brought up the Mari Morgan. Or Marmor, as she calls her. Turns out the Mari Morgan had been ignoring all of her calls. Ever since the Banshee was crowned Gaia's scariest monster by Screech Maghizine, she told us it carved a hole in their relationship that it caused a lot of jealousy, and she was disappointed that Mari Morgan cared more about some stupid popularity contest than her. We asked her if she wanted to talk about it with the Mari Morgan herself, but she said she didn't need to apologize for being scary. She was very thankful she got to talk about it, though. She was holding it all in because she didn't want to burden Baya with all the drama. She even offered for us to spend the night at her nearby cave, which was really nice of her. Did you end up taking a nap at her lair? We thought about it, but it was filled to the brim with the riches of the dead, which was far too alluring to allow us to fall to the call of sleep. You found loot. You have my attention. What did you find? Gold, bones, skulls, jewels of all sizes. And a loot. It was broken, but I picked it up anyway. There was also a delicate silver mirror that had hearts carved all over it. Como recognized it as a magical form. Como recognized it as a magical form. From its arcane markings. Melina showed me them in some book the other day, when the wizard Zolfo showed up around his library. It was a mirror of far speech. It lets you speak to anyone on this plane, given that you've seen them before. So you called Melly? No, we called the Mari Morgan. Ah, that makes more sense. How did it go? Well, I had to be the one to make the call since Como had never met her. When her face appeared, all I could do was stare in horror as she gazed back at me. I felt like I was back in the Ashen Grove leading adventurers to their doom, and I just froze. So I took the mirror out of their hands. Her first words were threats of what she would do to us if we had dared harm the Banshee. Of course we hadn't. That briefly calmed her down. Until I asked her why she wasn't here if she was so worried about the Banshee's well-being. Avoiding the question, she instead talked to us about the state of the lagoon. She complained that it must be incredibly loud with all the tourists and whatnot. I assured her there were no tourists, at least none that were alive. So she asked what I was doing in their lair then. Honestly, I replied that the Banshee had offered us a place to stay in her cave. I quickly realized that I picked the wrong thing to say. Her eyes started bleeding back black ichor, and she began cursing us out in tongues. The mirror cracked under her gaze and started bleeding black water. It was terrifying. And then we were just supposed to sleep there, as if she couldn't crawl out of the mirror any second. After that, I thought that we shouldn't discuss any further plans in the cave. So I pulled Fable outside and we went for a walk. The nymph had mentioned this enchanted flower field where she collects flowers for the fish. So we went there. I thought it might be a good spot. It was a good spot. Even though I couldn't stop shaking for a while, though the flowers really helped. As did not being alone. Was that when Kumo braided your hair? It was, yes. My hair kept falling in my face and it was overwhelming me. So he sat me down and braided it away while I worked on rebuilding the lute. He said that some distraction would help. Talking also really helped. Even if I asked a lot of stupid questions. They weren't stupid, just curious. Did you have a favorite one? They asked where I learned to braid hair. That actually brought us further on our quest. How so? Well, I learned it from my mother. It's the only thing I feel I have left of her. It was her way of apologizing. She was never good with words. It made me think, sometimes people aren't very direct with what they mean. I have heard that, yes. Like the Mari Morgan. She didn't seem angry about the Banshee outdoing her in her fear pageant. She didn't even mention it once. She only got upset when she thought we had hurt the Banshee. Or when she thought we were tourists. Or when we said we were staying in that cave. Like she was jealous of something entirely different from some issue of Screech Magazine. We talked it through and decided we had to get the two of them to talk face to face. Obviously, it would be difficult because of the distance, but I'd taken the mirror with me when we left. Thought it might be useful. Ever the thief? Indeed. I used it to call Baya. I asked her to tell the Mari Morgan to come to Boris. Fable mentioned she can teleport via plants, however that works. She can. You can try it out. It's nauseating. I think we'll pass. While I went to talk to the Banshee, Como picked up the Mari Morgan. She and I really connected on eyeliner techniques. When we arrived at the lagoon, they were immediately ready to claw at each other's throats, and not in a fun way. But somehow we managed to convince them to sit down. We tried to get them to talk about their feelings, but they just kept talking past and over and away from each other, arguing about an issue that didn't exist. So I had this crazy idea. I took out my new lute and asked them if they wanted to write a song together. They declined and insisted their voices would clash, but I thought at the very least it stopped them from arguing. Kumo helped me convince them by summoning tiny rain clouds pitter-pattering in a gentle melodic rhythm to inspire them to give it a try. We asked them to put all their emotions about the whole situation into a song. In the end, they harmonized together perfectly. Like their voices are made for each other in the gentle hum of my lute. It was beautiful. And a little bone-chattering, but very romantic. Most importantly, the song finally got them to understand each other. Like Kumo had suspected, the Mari Morgan was scared, not jealous, now that the Banshee was so popular. She feared the Banshee would become really busy with tourists visiting all the time. She assumed she wouldn't have time for her anymore. But the Banshee assured her that she didn't care about any of the tourists, only about the Mari Morgan, and Baya, of course. We told them to talk to her, too, and mentioned how much she had been missing them. They agreed to meet for a tea party in the Ashen Grove so Baya doesn't have to travel too far. Did you invite them to your barbecue? No. After the outpouring of emotions, they wanted some time for themselves. The quest was done. It had only taken us 2 days, which was really efficient. Unfortunately, we had told the ship to pick us up in 3 days, so we were trapped on the island. So you swam back? What? No. What's wrong with you? The usual. We started brainstorming about what we could do while we waited. So I asked about the cheesecake recipe, but then I realized there wasn't anywhere to bake it. They don't have taverns on Boris. It was a stupid idea. It wasn't. Somewhere on the island had to be something to bake a cheesecake in. Did you find that something? We did, but it turned into its own small quest. First, we had to find the right place for our little adventure. We met these lovely gnomes living in their little mushroom houses, and they offered to let us use their ovens. But they were too small, so they introduced us to the local Toad Hill Giant. Its kitchen was enormous, but it was easier to work in than one that was too small. Then the gnomes, the nymph, and the giant helped us gather ingredients from across the island. So we were able to make enough cheesecake for everybody. I burned mine a bit. But when we made the second batch for the ship's crew, they were already starting to turn out better. Kumo is a really good teacher. And you're a really good student. Thank you. The cake really lifted the crew's spirits on the journey back. We agreed to teach them the recipe once we hit land. Afterwards, they invited us to the captain's birthday party. They even introduced us to the traveling obelisk who sang us a song of the ancients. It showed us a shortcut through the Riolis mountain range where we met some flaming songbirds. And now you're here. And now we're here. Well, I'm glad you came back. Glad you two didn't run off into the sunset together. I'm not implying that at all. So I'm glad you came back. Of course we did. I promised a good story, and you delivered tenfold. Where are you two going next? I should probably talk to Melina. She was pretty mad when I left. I guess I should apologize while I still can. Good idea. Do you want me to come with you? No, I think I need to do this alone, or rather, with her. And I have to check in on Rufus, too. Maybe Hex taught her some fun magic tricks in the meantime. You left her with Hex? And with Grace. Don't worry, nothing was set on fire. I should go. But before I go, do you maybe want to do something together later today or tomorrow? Like a thing? Oh, like hanging out together? We could play charades with the werewolves. I think you meant hanging out as a date. Yeah, is that what you were thinking of doing? Oh my god. Okay, I have put these two together and I'm extremely mad at myself right now. I'm not saying that one. I'm going to say, yeah, is that what you were thinking of doing, Kumo? No. I was thinking more like spending time together, like on a walk? Like on a date. Oh. Okay, that sounds really fun. Cool. I'll pick you up, or I'll see you around, or whatever. I'll see you. I'm looking forward to it. Me too. Damn it. Well, I guess I could go with the bard. The tiefling-licking bard. He has me on a date. He did. That's... Oh. What do I do now? Do you think Archie has books on dating, or should I ask the Hydra for advice? It probably knows about dating, right? Archie's still on his quest. Also, I'm right here. You're right. What should I do? Just go, see where it takes you. No one said you actually have to go. I mean, like, I could ruin this. Do I want to be the asshole because I like Kumo? I kind of do. I kind of want to ruin it. I would say no one said you actually have to go. If it's too scary, just reschedule. But I don't want to reschedule. Yes, you want to reschedule. You do. I want to go on a date with him. I'm just unsure how all this works. Mostly I think you should just be honest with him. He seems to like you for who you are, so there's no need to hide. That's the scary thing. Why does he feel that way? Because you're very lovely? People keep saying that. But sometimes I feel a lot lovelier hiding, you know? To me, it sounds like it's perhaps a bit too late for that. Sorry for listening in. You two are just very sweet. It's okay. I also thought it was very sweet. He was very sweet. But now that he's gone, I have time to think again. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that type of sweet anymore. Maybe he was just being nice. He asked you on a date because he was just being nice? Well, maybe. He felt bad for me, or something. Innkeeper dear, I think Fable might be in need of another drink. Maybe something to untangle their thoughts. Something for a quick escape from all this overthinking. That sounds good. I'll see what I can do. And I'm going to poison it. Oh, I didn't say that. Do a swift strike. Oh, nope. Meant to hit the button. Or the bell. Does this help? Very much so, thank you. I feel like now I can uncurl the yarn of ball that is my brain. What do you think I should do? What do you want to do? I want to go on our date, and I want to get to know him better. Maybe even get him to know me better, too. Do you think he would like that? I think so, yes. It seems like you don't need our answers. You have yours already. Sometimes I just feel like I need permission to listen to my heart. Do you know you can give that permission to yourself? I forget that every time, but I know you're right. I think I know what to do now, somewhat. But I'll figure out the rest. Okay, so we unlock character information for Fable. With their budding faith in themselves, they're beginning to enjoy new things instead of being terrified of them. They're learning how to play an instrument, performing songs, and actually letting people close. This process will still take some time, but they've come a long way already. Thank you for listening to me. I think sometimes that's all I really need when I'm scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared, as long as you don't run from the things that make you happy. You're right. It took me a while to realize that. Running is so easy, you know? You always know where to go, away. But staying, you have to actually look at yourself, figure out what your part is in everything. That can be a lot. But when I was on the journey back from Boris, dancing with Kumo to the music of the Navigator's fiddle, thinking about how I would have never gotten to that point if I hadn't put myself out there, I realized that life is so much more than a constant game of hide and seek from the things that truly mean something. And I decided to stop running from life, even if I'm scared. I want to do my best to face my problems. Even though it's terrifying, I know that I'm not alone. Is this still about Kumo? No, he was never a problem. He's one of the reasons I'm not alone. Just like you. With good friends by my side, I can do anything. Yeah, we're friends, but you're just stealing my man. I don't know if you should do everything, and I can't wait to see what you will do. And see, I liked Fable. Now I just want to crap on them. You're stealing Kumo, and I don't like that. I can't wait to see what you will do. I don't know if you should do everything. I'm going to say that. Some things are better left undone. But I'd like to decide for myself what those things are. And I think I'm finally brave enough to face what I want, no matter what it ends up being. I'm really proud of you, Fable. Thank you for everything, especially the great advice. That was really great advice. Maybe you should take some of it too, Grace. Maybe you should. But we all conquer life at our own pace. My personal next Goliath is going to be reapplying my lip gloss. And maybe some blush. I do feel a little pale. Can I borrow a mirror for a bit, Innkeeper? Of course. There's some free rooms and mirrors upstairs right next to the acorn chimes. Just ignore the door with the do not enter signs. You shouldn't have said that. Now I want to check. Please don't. I won't. I'm polite. Or am I? Let's hope she won't find all the nightmare creatures you have locked up there. Let's. Have you ever visited the Twilight Chasm? Not for long enough to capture any creatures. I see. What are you thinking about, Innkeeper? Oh, you know, innkeeper things. I don't. No, I mean, since I'm not an innkeeper and all. Right. That song you mentioned, the one you started writing on the ship? I know it's not done yet. But how about a little sneak peek? To see if it would make for a good jingle. I don't think it's jingle material. But I don't mind sharing it with you. Just keep in mind that it's a work in progress. Of course. There's a calling on the wind beneath the talk of the keep. I've heard the tales, set the sails, now it's time for me to leave. That sounds like a great opener. So you like it? It's wonderful? It's okay, not my favorite. Now I just want to be an asshole to them. I don't know why. Took my Kumo from me. I'll be nice. It's wonderful. I can't wait to hear more. Me too. But it's still a little rough around the edges. I feel like it's missing something. Maybe the next adventure. Maybe. Will you let me know when it's done? Of course. I can't wait to show you the finished version. Thank you, Fable. I'm proud of you. For maybe finally finishing a song? For not running. Oh. Thank you. Me too. Innkeeper, do you ever think about taking your own advice? All the time, yes. Why don't you? I don't know. It's hard, I know, but I promise I believe in you as much as you believe in me. And I know we'll both be okay. I would like that. Me too. Well, I've talked a lot today. I'll give you some space. Maybe it's time to stop running. Should I? Is it time to read that letter? Yes. Oh, that was easy. I guess I've been wanting to do it for a while. Let's hope for no regrets. My dearest friend, long has it since been we've talked last. Long has it been since everything has been seared away by the cold flames of death. I wish I could still remember our last conversation, but it's waning memory. I can only imagine how you enjoyed running away, wishing to forget whatever was between us. Maybe you did, for a brief moment, for those 30 years. If you did, I'm writing this letter to kindly remind you of the good old times. To celebrate our reunion, I invite you to the spectacle of the century, the last day of the astral moon, welcoming the first light of the dying moon, where the realm of Tuat is just a grasp away. Are there any spirits you'd like to remember? Are you afraid of what they might tell you? Worry not, I'll be right there. Watch the sky closely on the 35th of the Cassiopeia. See you soon, an old friend. That was... Got the achievement, gather the courage to open the letter. I guess you've always been a fan of symbolism, but you didn't even leave an address. Very irresponsible. Pardon? No time. Duck. Now. What's going on? Are you okay? Do you need help? Healing? Something's coming. Something big. Your next show? What? No. There's no time. Duck. Is the ground? Oh. My tavern's gonna fall apart. There's a big wave outside. Is everyone alright? I think so. Yes. Phew, that was a close call. Could have been really dangerous. What just happened? Why, is there water outside the tavern? I'd also like to know the answer to that. I've got no clue. I was just outside by the woods, drafting my newest song, when the ground beneath my feet began to rumble. Not even a minute passed, and it rumbled again. Then, a wall of water came rushing towards me. I didn't even dare to wait. I ran immediately, looking for shelter. No way was I going to let my haragum get wet. These strings are made of real chia bean silk, and the body is ethereal bamboo. It's a rarity. That's the first thing going through your mind with a giant wave rushing at you? Of course, this instrument is just as valuable as my hands. And just as versatile. Is everyone alright? Grace, dragons, you're alright. I was worried something had happened to you. Oh, don't worry. When the wall started rumbling, I hid under a table, and then I watched the water rush by the window. It was like a tsunami, but tsunamis are very rare, if not impossible, so far into the mainland. Right. It's so strange. Everything seems to be submerged out there. I wonder what could cause such a cataclysm. It's worrying, to say the least. And it's definitely too dangerous to go outside. Even the tavern is leaking. Don't worry, it'll withstand. Are you sure? I'm sure. I've gotten through worse than this. You? It's gotten through worse than this. Wouldn't have thought it could withstand this sort of thing, but even more so glad it can. Seems to be a simple yet very sturdy tavern after all. Just like you, Innkeeper. That's my boo. He's my other one. He's my only one now because Como is choosing Fable. But that's okay. Are you flirting with the Innkeeper? Pah, me? No. Also, that's besides the point. Is it? It is. Oh, I'm gonna go with the question, is it? I mean, unless I like to work my body. It helps in a lot of aspects. Can we get back to the point, please? Yeah, sure. The point. I threw him off his guard. Right back to the point. Did you see exactly what happened? Not really. I was listening to the whistle of the wind in the treetops, jotting down notes for my next song, when suddenly a horde of silver-crested deer rushed past me. Before they could trample over me, I jumped up on the rock I was sitting on and watched them gallop downhill. When I saw water break through the canopies, snapping trees in half like they were shashlik skewers, I wasted no second. I turned on my heel, knowing I'd be done for if I waited for a moment longer. Then I was here and told you to duck. That sounds horrible. Are you all right? Are you hurt? I'm fine, thanks. And anyways, with whom do I have the pleasure? Oh, yeah, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Not after I just lost Kumo. I'm not going to lose Voy. I'm Grace. Nice to meet you, Grace. Oh my, you're Voyage, aren't you? The silver-tongued virtuoso? Yes, that would be me. My apologies, I didn't mean to push any boundaries. But I saw you perform at Dropstone's Institute campus that one time. And I must say, you pulled on all my heartstrings with your beautiful performance. Oh. I did that? Yes, I was awestruck by what your music could do. It was like magic in its very own way. Music can be very soothing in moments of distress. Were you distressed back then? A little. I don't remember exactly why anymore, but I remember the emotion. But not more distressed than I am right now. I hope Hex is safe and well. I'm sure he is. Shoot. Did you see that creature swim by? Something swam by. I wasn't paying attention. What? Where? It looked like a red-winged eel. Oh, I haven't seen one of those in ages. Where is its natural habitat? Actually, the Twilight Chasm. Why is it here? Something isn't right. I'm afraid you might be correct. I'm also afraid, very much so. I don't think it's safe to go outside. Of course not. You should all stay for the night. Would that be possible? Of course, the tavern will withstand this, and a bit of company wouldn't hurt. I agree. Thank you, Innkeeper. Say, you with the lute, what's your name? Fable. My name is Fable. Do you play the lute, I mean? Sometimes. I'm still practicing and not all that good with it yet. How about we play together, a song or two, to lift our spirits and wait out the catastrophe going on outside? It's very untuned. It goes out of tune really quickly, but I guess that's a lute thing. Okay, so character information on Voy. Okay, even though he's charismatic, he's surprisingly bad with people, as well as reading between the lines. Despite being self-conscious about his skills, he still chose to play songs together with Fable after the flood to lift everyone's spirits. He also got a hagram made out of an ethereal bamboo and chia bean silk. I gotcha, show it to me. I'll help you, and we'll jam until a new dawn rises. Okay, so we got the achievement Blub Blub, Sleep with the Fishes. Oh my goodness, it's flooded. Act 3, the Twilight Flood. That would be 14 Rising Tides, 18th of the Astral Moon. We're starting with Hex. Grace, is Grace here? Good mythical morning to you too, Hex. This isn't funny, Innkeeper. Tell me, is she here? Please tell me she's here. She is. I'll let her know you're here. Thank you. By the dragons, I was worried sick. So sick. She'll be happy to know you're safe and sound, too. The flood was enormous, and if she'd gotten caught up in it... Oh, no. I don't want to even begin to imagine. Then don't. How about a drink to calm your nerves? Yes. A drink sounds great. Something that will untangle my thoughts and help me focus. I'll see what I can do. Okay, so that would be the Sparkling Nebula. Okay. Then we need some of this. Maybe this will help clear your mind. It does, at least a little bit. Thank you, Innkeeper. Hex, good to see you safe and well. You too. Where have you been? Are you all right? Did you get hurt? I'm fine. The Innkeeper and yesterday's superstars took care of me. Just as you took care of us. The least we could have done was be there for each other. How have you been, brother dear? Did you get hurt? No, but I was worried about you. The whole night locked in that damned house. All I could think about was how the flood might have... Why didn't you tell me you were going to the tavern? I looked everywhere for you. Oh, sorry. I didn't know I needed your permission to go outside. That's not what I'm trying to say. Then what are you trying to say? That you could have gotten hurt, and I wouldn't have known. I don't expect a tsunami to hit Gaia every day. That wasn't in the foreseeable future, Hexy. Uncontrollable things happen, and when they do, we do our best to overcome them. Also, I can protect myself quite well. Still, how was I supposed to know that you were safe? I'm an adult, you know. You could try trusting in my capabilities. Furthermore, PSAOR was very useful last semester. PSAOR? Protective sigils and other remedies. Ah. Also, the tavern itself is well protected by my own brand of sigils. That's at least something. Yes, I'm very thankful the Innkeeper and her tavern kept me safe. I didn't mean to worry you. I didn't plan on being gone for so long, but then the flood happened. Okay, sure. How have you been holding up? Is the house all right? Apart from some minor damage and some leakage in the roof, I suppose it's fine. I wasn't even aware of the approaching flood until the house's foundation started trembling. I was busy in my workshop harvesting the essence of Dimensions 567 for my research. I hope you didn't rip a hole in the fiber of magic again. I didn't, and even if I did, you couldn't have stopped me. You weren't there after all. Right. But I can scold you now. You won't want to when you find out I actually managed to harvest something. You did? That's amazing. What a huge breakthrough. That would mean I created a teeny tiny rift to the astral realm and got my hands on some stardust. Well, sort of. How? I got an astral shard when the stars fell. Ah, I see. There's still the issue of never knowing exactly what might come through when you open these kinds of rifts. Could be anything or anyone. Like creatures? For example. That wouldn't be good. Yeah, it wouldn't. Because when your sister disappears again, you wouldn't know if she got eaten by a creature or was just out for a stroll. Hex, cut it out. What? We get it, alright? I went away, you were worried, we get it. But I'm my own person and I can do what I like. I'm getting tired of this. Well, me too. Then stop. I don't want to fight. Then don't. Sorry. It's fine. We shouldn't spend our time fighting when there are so many more interesting things going on. How about a wee bit of distraction? Oh, we could go outside and see if we can take samples of the floodwater. Exactly. Who knows? Maybe it holds spectacular and rare magical properties. That sounds lit. Maybe it'll help me finish my long-term research project. Possibly, though to access the primordial vortex you'd need primordial seawater. I know, but who knows what we'll find. Don't forget to fill me in on your research. Theopractically, I'll tell you anything, but only theopractically. Wouldn't have expected anything else. Thank you, Innkeeper, for hosting me the night and all. See you soon. Okay, so we got character information unlocked with Hex. Okay, so he loves his sister dearly, but the relationship seems strange. He praises her and adores her, and he's very worried about possibly losing her. At the same time, he's always risking his life looking for thrilling and dangerous spells with no concern for his own health. Good morning, you two. Did you sleep well? As well as could, with the sweet song of stormy waves pattering against our window. So very well, and with inspiring dream. Glad to hear that. Your impromptu concert certainly helped me sleep. Because it was so boring? No, because it calmed my nerves. All of our nerves, I think. Not that I have any. You don't have nerves? Is that a phantasm thing? No. I meant those metaphorical nerves. Oh, you get those too? No, of course not. I'm boy. Well, yeah, sometimes. Mostly when I have to perform. Isn't that embarrassing? Not really. That also makes me nervous. Oh. Though... I have to say, last night performing with you for Grace and the Innkeeper, it was kind of relaxing. I could just lose myself in the performance without having to worry about what anyone would think of me. Not that I ever do, but it was nice. We should make more music together sometime. Actually, Fable just started on a new song. I think Fable needs a little more practice first. So, Fable started a new song. We gonna take Voy too? Fable's gonna get Voy and Como. Was it Como? What is his name now? I forgot. Yeah, Kumo. Maybe you can collaborate. Really? That would be awesome. Well, yes, you're right. That would be awesome. I think working on it together would be fun. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Hooray. I'm looking forward to our grand collaboration and charming you with it, Innkeeper. All right. You're supposed to say you're also looking forward to it. I am very much looking forward to it. I don't think you're supposed to say that part out loud. I'm very much looking forward to it. That's what I thought. Aren't we going to be cool together? The coolest. Too cool for me to describe. I already know we'll blow you away. I'm counting on it. Enough chit-chat. I should check up on the village. Maybe someone needs a good song to cheer them up. I'm sure Baya would love one. I think Baya was probably cheered up by a good flood. But speaking of her, maybe you can hand out some of her spa coupons for me. Sure thing. Her spa rocks. I shall start by enlightening Grace. Is she still here? No, she just left, together with Hex. Something about primordial water. Those wizards. I'll try to catch up to them. See you soon. Don't finish the song without me, Fable. I'll wait for you. Can I get one of those coupons? Sure you can. Just make sure to tell Baya I sent you. Of course. What a strange morning. Or exciting morning? Both, I think. Would you like a morning drink? Yes, something that will help me with writing my song, please. Okay, so that would be this one. So, Sunny Breeze or Spoken Heart? Probably a Spoken Heart. Okay, a little of that. There we go. A drink with 0 primordial water, maybe. It does taste a little primordial and very delicious. Perfect. You know, last night when I couldn't sleep, I was watching the fish swimming by the window. Their scales kept reflecting in the water, making them shift and shimmer like they almost weren't there. I was mesmerized by them. It was like a dream that kept pulling me towards the waves. It was beautiful and haunting. Do you think it looks like that every day somewhere? That beautiful? That haunting? I think any place can imagine existence somewhere, if only in our heads. I'd like to see all those places. I don't think they're all safe to see. Hey, it's Kier. I'm not talking to him. Fable, by the dragons, they're here. Are you all right? I am. The Innkeeper kept me safe. It's good to see you both are well, too. Couldn't you have let us know you were breathing? We couldn't find you anywhere. I'm sorry, I just woke up. Were you guys worried about me? Maybe. Of course we were. Don't even know if you can swim. I can. Can you? Of course. No. Oh, we should teach you sometime. Sure. Thank you for worrying about me, but I actually had a pretty nice night. Voy and I gave Grace and the Innkeeper a small concert while we were all stuck inside. Oh, sad that we missed that. I can track down Voy to give you guys an encore. That'd be nice. I'm sorry I didn't get around to picking you up. It's okay. I bet the roads were a bit busy. Yeah, it was a little tough getting out. Rufus loved it, though. I think he made some new friends. Seemed like this catastrophe had some pleasant side effects. What happened anyway? Did a whale eat a moon this time? No idea what that's supposed to mean, but no. Or maybe. No idea how it happened. They say the primordial sea flooded the Twilight Chasm, and it all spilled out through its portals into Phocia, leaving us all with this mess. That's new. Okay, so we got the rumor-unlocked primordial flood. At least the other continents probably got through it without much trouble. For once, they can be less jealous of our portals. I do hope everyone is okay. Everyone we could check in on is. Luckily for us, the water's drained enough to rescue everyone around here. Though I heard that the underwater hasn't emerged yet. Happy to see you all emerged. Mostly. What does that mean? Are you still drowning in your sorrows? Are you still looking for someone? Yes. I was wondering if Melly is here. She wasn't home when I checked on her. No, she didn't stop by yesterday, nor today. Did you see her before that? Did she say where she would be going? I'm afraid she hasn't been in since you returned from Zophord. That wizard punk hasn't seen her either. Took a second to ask him when he almost broke down Kumo's door looking for Grace. Do we know if she can swim? I'm sure she can, and I'm sure she's just taken shelter elsewhere. You taught her how to hide well, after all. Maybe she's just putting that to good use. When I returned yesterday, I found Rufus eating out of a strange apparatus that dispensed food and water every couple hours. Like someone really smart set it up for him in their absence? Yes. He was gorging himself on some food, but Melly was nowhere to be found. Oh, that's worrying. Did she leave a note? No. I'm sure she's okay. I'd be worried. We don't want to make him really upset, so I'm sure she's okay. Maybe ask Una. She probably put her up to something. I shall investigate that avenue right now. Fable, would you be okay with moving our time? Time? You got an appointment or something? More like a date. Can't wait for that story. I'll tell you later. But, yes, we should move it. This isn't the kind of dancing in the rain I was hoping for. Me neither. Another time, then. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Me, too. I hope she didn't try to investigate the fish. They'd eat her alive. Sounds a little more hopeful. The girl's savvy. Look at the contraption she left behind. Ain't no fish got a chance against her. Being hopeful isn't really my thing. Then make it your thing. I'll let you know when I find her. Such a man of few words. A man of words. He's just worried. Speaking of worries and words, Kara, it's good to finally see you back. How was the escorting? I hope you didn't get too wet. It happened. How did it happen? Well, actually, this can wait a bit, right? Yes or no? Well, we'll say yes. I won't push her. Thanks for understanding. I'll be back later once I can think more clearly. I'd like to check up on Uncle Dragon. Make sure that old fart is still up and running. Fable, I'm guessing you'd like to check in with your family too? Yes, I would love to make sure everyone's all right. Maybe Melly's with the Amarathian Hydra. She really wanted to ask for tea recommendations. I'm counting on you returning with a good story. Don't get too excited. I'll see if I can drag Rhea and Fancy Pants along as well. Think they could use a drink. Speaking of which, got one for the road? Sure thing. Something strong to get you through all that socializing? You got it. Okay, so we'll give her typical order, which is the Southern Brawler. Okay, need one of these. And one of these. There we go. Here, the strongest thing I could brew up for you. Thanks. Miss these drinks. A little. Oh, that's sweet. Don't dwell on it. Anyway, Fable, let's go. I'll be right there. I'm sure everybody will be okay, Innkeeper, so don't you worry about it. And make sure to keep a hot chocolate warm for Melly. I'm sure she'd love one of those. I'll give it my best. I know you will. Don't swim out too far. We'll see. The waters are dangerous these days. Just what are you up to? Time to make sure I have enough ingredients for a hot chocolate around, I guess. Good to see that you're open and keep. And a good evening to you too, Una. Ha, spare me the babbling, though I'm glad you seem to be unharmed. I am, thanks to some protective spells I put on the end a while back. Works better than in any insurance. What about you? Are you unharmed? I'm as good as new. Might be missing an arm, but that doesn't mean I forgot how to swim. It's easier than walking, actually. And breathing in the water instead of the air was unexpectedly nice. These gills aren't just for decorative purposes. Felt a little bit like home, you know? But the water tasted different than that of the astral sea. More primordial, I might even say. Yeah, I figured. But you don't seem to be very worried about it. Nah, whatever happens is none of my business now. I'm retired. And water also doesn't bother me. Shouldn't bother you too much either, am I right? Since you're so close to... I knew you wouldn't forget. I might be old, but I'm not senile. Me neither. So you wouldn't call the primordial sea your home, then? I've inhabited a few planes already. My past doesn't define the word home for me anymore. But you're right. Primordial water doesn't do any harm to me. Even if I wanted to drown in it, I wouldn't be able to. But honestly, I was more worried about my patrons than the inn itself. I hope everyone is safe and well. Wouldn't worry too much about all your regulars. Adventurers are tough folk, and your drinks toughen them up even further. I have faith that you're right. But your tavern... Well, let's just say it definitely has seen better days. Nah, that's kind of an understatement. It looks like... Ouch. I've been working the whole day to clean up as much as I can. My condolences. Say, have you ever talked to the Wizard of Mayoral? No, sadly I haven't had the pleasure. Oh, you should if you get the chance. He's always loved all kinds of spells and enchantments. More of the kind involving trickery, like puzzles and traps, but I'm sure he knows a protective spell or two. I mean, he's been protecting his wizard tower for quite some time now. Okay, so we got the rumor, Mayoral's moving trickster. I'll keep that in mind if I ever get to meet him. But I suppose you're not just here to talk. How about a drink? Ha, you definitely have a way with customer service. How about a drink that'll wake my old muscles up so I can help you tidy up your tavern afterwards? I can't quite remember having asked for help. What's that? My old ears suddenly can't understand what you're saying. How unfortunate. Maybe a strong drink would help. All right, coming right up. Okay, so the Southern Brawler. Need some defense. And some charisma. And there we go. There you go. A drink powerful like the astral sea. Wonderful. I consumed enough primordial water to last me weeks. And? It doesn't taste exactly like home, but the hint of elemental magic revives some old memories. I gotta say, you definitely know your craft. Thank you. Could I maybe convince you to just relax and let me do my work? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Forget it. Let's clean this messy tavern. If you insist. Before I forget. All that water swept some animal remains into my pockets. Don't really know where they came from, and I don't feel any kind of astral energy coming from them. So I assume they're either Gaian or primordial. And before I stab myself with them while cleaning, I wanted to check if you'd have any use for them. Stab? Yeah, they're surprisingly sharp. Now I'm curious. Let me see. Ha, you're so easy. Okay, unlock the infusion Saber Fang. Thank you, Una. They might not be primordial, but I think I know just what to do with them. Gonna spice up some drinks? Maybe. Can't wait to try them then. And now let's spice up this old rusty tavern. So we got some more character information on Una. Okay, so since she's been around for a while, she's witnessed many things younger folks haven't. Mere harbingers of global calamity couldn't shake her, but maybe that's just the astral sea mentality. She's also never involved in helping or figuring out what happened. Absolutely not, because she's retired. Duh. Okay, get the achievement, Distract and Run. Welcome back to my tavern, brave adventurers. Good to see you're all unharmed and doing... well? At least we didn't drown. By the way, who's that granny on your porch? Looks like she's collecting driftwood. Don't mind her. She's an old friend of mine with some weird habits. She wanted to help tidy up the tavern after the flood. That's kind of nice, actually. I suppose so. I couldn't convince her to let me do it alone. Did the flood hit you as well? You bet. Had to hold on to Rhea for a quick second there, or else she would have been swept away like a twig. Hard you, wee shit. We had just passed Themis when it happened. Luckily, there were 2 carriages nearby, wedged between sturdy trees and a large boulder. We managed to pull ourselves out of the raging waters and into the carriages. Thank the dragons, it could have gone south real quick. And your tavern looks a wee bit wet as well. It is. I've been working non-stop to clean it up. That's not good. Working nonstop? Comes with being self-employed, I get. No, I mean the flood. Never heard of a flood that massive. It spread all the way from Thames to Zenith. You're right. We certainly aren't that close to the sea. Thames maybe, but not in your inn. It's also very recent. We'll have to wait until we know the true extent of it. But what about your mission? Did you complete it before the flood started? I'm gonna say no. Come to think of it, Archie, you've been awfully quiet today. That's very unlike the noble hero I know. Give him a break, would you? We had pretty rough nights. Oh, did something go wrong? The drink you prepared for us, with those golden feathers? I remember. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. But it wasn't enough. Don't know if any other potion could have changed our fate, though. What happened? I guess I'm telling the story then. Let's begin. We actually would have been well prepared if this had been a normal escorting mission, that is. It all started just like a regular quest. We met our client in his temporary abode, which looked like it was worth more money than care and I ever make in our lives. Combined. Correct. Anyways, our client's name was Theodore. Theodore Hugo Frederick Sinclair III, to be exact. He told us politely not to call him by his full name, so we agreed on Theodore. He's the noble son of some wealthy diplomat, hence the long name. I figured. And you had to get him to Daria because of some financial conflicts between them and the mainland. Correct. At first, everything went surprisingly well. Since the magical bridge got destroyed, we had to get to Daria by ship. Because of the dispute, no ships from the mainland are allowed to dock in Amasia, so we had to take the long way. From the port of Windmore in the Windy Meadows to the Twin Borough, and then to Amasia by foot. All with a young nobleman that rarely strays from home. The kid had some quirks and mannerisms neither of us were familiar with, but luckily Archie here was able to help us out. I tend to be a little wary around rich people, but we actually got along quite well. Especially like Archie here was hanging on his every word. Or especially little Archie here. We didn't take the main road to avoid too much unwanted attention. Moving quickly through the Darian tundra, we only encountered a few obstacles like tree trunks. Ray had to keep the path clear while Archie entertained our client. He was quite useful after all, even though it was his first quest. He definitely knew how to tell stories and keep us entertained. Theodore loved every tale Archie told. Yeah, seems like you're a natural-born storyteller. You also have a surprising amount of knowledge about plants and stuff in the orange head of yours. I'm glad I could be of help. Theo rarely went outside, so I assisted him with my knowledge of plants that sting or those with poison. That's a very helpful skill. Everything went as planned until the sun started setting. I think my ears picked it up first. They were like a bunch of low humming sounds far away still, but definitely unusual. Didn't hear anything, but I'd always trust the fluffy ears of I can't say what species he is. Vulcakin over my own. I asked the two boys if those sounds were common around here, but they both denied it. That's when I started getting this weird feeling in my guts. Every experience adventure develops that sooner or later. It's like a sixth sense to keep you out of trouble. Oh, I've heard of that. I know what you're talking about. That looming feeling deep within your stomach. I knew something was wrong, and that if we didn't get out of here, our situation would only get worse. At first, I just told Rhea. Didn't want to alarm the two boys. Your client should never be afraid. That's just bad customer service. Agreed. So we quietly tried to figure out what to do, but by then I could also faintly hear the deep sounds. But if I could hear them, Archie and Theodore could as well. And they also heard us talking. That's unfortunate. We agreed on positioning the two boys between us, even though Archie proclaimed he could fight as well. A simple but effective lineup. Me at the back of the line, Kara in the front, because she's got the best ears. Theodore was still calm. He said something along the lines of course they'd try and start an assault. That's why I'd hired you, remember? He's not wrong. I just would have expected more, the regular kind of assassin. Whatever that might be. If you'd let me continue, you'd get it. Sorry, my bad. To make things worse, it got real dark real quick. And we could hear that guttural grunting all around us. She said, boggin' crap, where are they? Where are they coming from? But, well, at first I could only see one, then two. Then suddenly, they were everywhere. Zombies. We were surrounded by zombies. I had to think fast. There weren't any gaps in their formation, so I knew we had to fight. Thanks to those enchanted feathers in your drink, I was able to quickly overpower 2 zombies by smashing their heads together. You're strong. I like strong women. I pushed both boys forward so they'd get moving. I knew if we wanted to get out of there in one piece, we needed to stay together. Kara was blocking attacks left and right, slicing through their rotten skin and brittle bones with her greatsword. She was a sight to behold. My sword lended me its power to fight us through, but I would have needed more time to figure out a plan. There were just so many of them. I knew we had to get back to the main road. The terrain so deep in the forest was very uneven and made running away from the horde of the undead even more difficult. How did so many of them even get there? At least it was apparent why all those animals had disappeared on the road. They got eaten by the undead. And we'd be next if we didn't get the blank, because usually thunder rolls, but it didn't do it that time, out of there. So we ran. But turns out a nobleman's clothes aren't made for running. They're made for nothing except looking obnoxious. They're not even that comfortable. I was more prepared than Theo, but even some of my seams ripped. I could hear Rhea behind us telling us to hurry up unless we wanted to die. So I wrapped my hand around Theo's velvet-coated wrist, and it just didn't let go. There was no way I would let anyone die on my first mission. But then, right before we got to the main road, he tripped. I suppose it was bound to happen. Ray had somehow outrun us and was already stumbling onto the main road ahead. I tried to pull Theo up on his feet, but his pants must have gotten caught in some thorns, and he just couldn't get up. I tried to get him free. I really tried, but my hands were so sweaty and shaky. I saw the zombies. I saw the rotting faces that got closer and closer. I was too far ahead to realize what was going on, and when I finally noticed, it was too late. I knew getting to the road was our main priority, but when I got there and the 2 boys were missing, I knew something must have gone wrong. I turned around, and right as I did, I saw Archie and Theodore on the ground. A bunch of zombies getting real close to them. I warded off the first 2, maybe 3, but there were just so many of them. Then Theo screamed, the most horrifying scream filled with pain and agony. I've read about that sort of scream before, but I didn't think it would be so heartbreaking. Yes. That's when Ray and Carolyn suddenly appeared next to us. They pushed the zombies back and helped Theo get up. Well, as much as he could with what was left of his left leg. I knew I had to come up with a plan. There were too many zombies for us to fight, and running away would have been difficult since Theo was hurt. But your drink was driving me forward, kind of like a drinkable Lucky Charm. I had already slain a chimera, so I should have been able to handle a few undead and a hurt client with ease. Slain a chimera? Yeah. Oh, you surprising me. Sadly, slaying all those undead wasn't a possibility, but maybe, I thought to myself, maybe I could outsmart them. Theo was hurt, and he also wasn't looking too good. The undead seemed to be drawn to the smell of his fresh blood, and next to your drink, I was still quite hasty. I knew I could outrun any dead. So on a whim, I turned back to the other 3. Rhea was trying to fight back dozens of monsters while Archie supported Theo. I grabbed a piece of bloodied cloth that had been ripped off of Theodore's leg. I don't know if they listened or if it was just the smell that drew them to me, but I yelled, "I'm here! Come and get you a fresh piece of meat." I thought she'd gone crazy, I tell you. But it was a smart move. I definitely had their attention. Archie was out of it, so I told Rhea to just follow the path to Amasa and treat Theodore's wounds as quickly as possible. I would then catch up to them as soon as I was done there. And that's what we did. I don't agree with women that are taller and faster than me. Her quick thinking probably saved our asses, probably, but it's not doing the thunder anymore. That's weird. Good call, both of you. Maybe it's because of all the water still out there. I led those brain-dead monsters the opposite direction. Turns out I could easily outrun them. But I wanted to get rid of them once and for all, or else we wouldn't have been safe for long. And as soon as I spotted a cliff between the trees with nothing but the vast sea further on, I knew what to do. I knew I had to override my instincts, so it was kind of dangerous. But I yelled one more time. "Come and get me if you can." And then I threw the piece of cloth off the cliff. My instincts kicked in, wanting to play fetch. Luckily, my will was stronger than the monsters. One after another, they tried to catch the blood-drenched fabric and jumped, falling to their, well, hopefully final deaths. I can't believe that actually worked. Me neither. But otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. I'm glad. Seems like the undead are kind of like pack animals, at least for the most part. A few of them didn't take the bait, but nothing my greatsword couldn't fix, so rumors dawn of the brain dead. I think we might have all 3 for this one. I followed Ray and the boys' tracks until we met up again. We could already see the light of Amasa in the distance. But we hadn't been fast enough. With every step, Theo's hand grasping my shoulder was getting weaker and weaker. I didn't even dare look at his face while I talked to him to keep him awake. Even when his answers started getting sparse and quiet. But you made it, right? Right? No. He didn't make it. Dang, man. Tell me that's not true. You're joking, right? Tell me it's not true. I wish it wasn't. But I'd never lie about someone's death. Especially not his. I'm so sorry, Archie. I didn't know the mission would be so dangerous. It's not your fault, Innkeep. It's none of our faults either. Maybe I should have prepared a different drink for you. It's all right. We did our best. Things don't always go as planned. I guess life isn't as magically perfect as the numerous tales I've read would suggest. Bad things can happen to anyone, even to those with the purest of hearts. Some may deserve it, but most don't. I just wish it wouldn't have been him. It's such a selfish thought, but I can't get it out of my head. And that's fine. It's just not fair. Why him? I apologize. I didn't mean to raise my voice like that. It's all right, kid. We know the pain you feel. You know, some deaths are inevitable. Illness, old age, whatever it may be. Those are easier to stomach even if they hurt. That's true. And then there are deaths which are completely unexpected. Those that don't feel fair to us. They make us think, if only I did this, if only I said that, and so forth. But you mustn't dwell on those feelings. It's okay to mourn, but you can't change the past. The only thing you can change is the future. Live your life your friend would have wanted for you. Make him proud. I suppose you're right. What did you do then? Did you still go to Amasa? We did, yes. He must have died just before we arrived. Someone from the night watch recognized him. We were immediately surrounded by healers, but it was already too late. You may bring bodies back from the dead, but not souls. After we explained the situation and how I got rid of the zombies, they offered for us to stay the night. We needed some rest before making our way back to the next morning. I also sent a letter to Theo's family. I wanted to. After all, I've known them since I was a child, and I was with him in his last moments. If someone was going to deliver the bad news, it needed to be me. I'm not sure I could have acted so calm and collected. I really wasn't. Also, I don't know if this is perhaps too macabre, but would you hold on to something for me? Of course. What is it? It's the quill that I used to write the letter to Theo's parents. I must have lost my supplies somewhere on the way to Daria, so I had to buy a new quill. First I thought of it as a nice memento, but the wound is still too fresh. I'll hold on to it, as long as you need me to. Thank you, Innkeeper. Just, what's going to happen with the dispute between Daria and the mainland now? Not that the ambassador has died on Daria's soil. It's just such a big mess. And we didn't fix anything. We just made things worse. Anyway, I'm just so terribly tired. Please excuse me. Good night, everyone. You want to sleep here tonight? Sometimes a little company can do wonders. I would understand if you wanted to avoid to be alone tonight. I mean, hey, company can help. And you'll be safe from any potential floods. I'll also be sleeping here. I suppose you're right. Maybe I'll occupy one of the rooms then, dear Innkeeper. Of course, go upstairs. Third door on the left. Make yourself at home. I think I'll just sleep. But I appreciate your kindness. Thank you. Good night, everyone. And that's really sad because he's not his, normal peppy, exuberant self, and that's sad to see. I hope he'll be all right. Let the kid grieve. I guess asking if either of you'd like a drink would be a little insensitive at this point. Don't. Got it. Instead, Kara, let's talk about your extraordinary fighting skills. Gotta say, I was really impressed with how you decimated those zombies. Takes a good beast slayer to know one. Nah, I'm more of a general fighting type, but I can always appreciate two strong hands. And such a well-crafted greatsword on top of that. Happy to see you appreciate solid craftsmanship. It was a gift from my baba. She told me the great dragons themselves gifted it to her, but I don't know if that's true. Could be. You won against a chimera, after all. You might be onto something there. Have you ever heard of the great axe of Ur? The most powerful weapon ever forged by the origin of this world itself? You bet. You think it really exists? I mean, my baba loved to tell stories. But if her sword was made by the dragons, maybe Ur's great axe is also more than just a myth. Dwarves have their own origin in the subterranean caves, on the plane of Ur. I grew up in a labyrinth of caves surrounded by gems and ores, legends, and tales. I mean, I haven't seen it with my own 2 eyes yet, but I'm convinced a legendary weapon exists. I bet it's so large I probably wouldn't even recognize it as an axe. I've heard Ur keeps it in their resting place at all times. Yeah, though so far no one has found it yet. Because we got another rumor for the Great Axe of Ur, and hopefully no one ever has to. What do you mean? You know the tale. If someone was to wake Ur up, the apocalypse would begin. But that's just an old tale, right? Something you tell kids that don't want to eat their food. Eat up or Ur will awaken. Questionable parenting techniques, if you ask me. Yeah, I got to hear that a few times when I was still a wee barn. All those tales ever did was make me want to craft a legendary weapon myself. Have you ever made something like that? Not yet, but I will soon. I'll make the greatest weapon ever forged and smash this year's Orhart blacksmithing competition to bits. I'll outcraft my ex-husband with ease. Now there's thunder. Ex-husband? Yeah, we used to work together. Now he claims I wouldn't stand a chance without him, but I'll prove him wrong. Anyways, Innkeeper, I think it's getting quite late and it's been an exhausting week. Absolutely agreed. Let's get some rest. And then look for another quest elsewhere to afford me crafting materials. Good night, you two. Okay, so Rhea. Got some more on her. Oh, already there. Since her marriage broke apart, Rhea has been determined to win a famous blacksmithing competition, perhaps to restore a bit of self-confidence or self-worth, but that may be a stretch. That's why she's always on the hunt for gold, fallen stars, or other rare and expensive materials. Good night, you two. Good night, Kara. Night, Innkeeper. Oh, that's where the quill went. Oh, so we didn't get enough to make a quest just yet. But Act 3, The Twilight Flood, 15, Riptide, 19th of the Astral Moon. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and end it there. We've had 2 of the quests finally become finished and come back, and one of them was really successful for the Mari Morgan and the Banshee, and then the other one didn't go so well. And it kind of makes you wonder if maybe I'd picked a different drink, if it would have changed things. I don't know. It's the same thing with if I hadn't sent Fable with Kumo. Maybe they would be going on a date and he'd be going on a date with me. I'm still mad at Fable. I'd have banned them from my tavern. I used to like Fable. I've changed my mind. But anyway, let me know what you think about the game and the story in the comments down below. Please leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye.